Okay, guys. So let me start off. And my name is Vikram Shastri, and I'm the lead trainer and director of Uttara Info Solutions Private Limited. Maybe some of you know about Uttara, maybe many of you may not as well. But before I do do the introduction of Uttara or myself, first and foremost, I want to thank you for being here. So it's on a Sunday evening time, mata mata madhyan, 4 o'clock. You could have been doing anything, right, including sleeping, but yet you are all here listening to me. So it means a lot to me that you're here. So that's for first and foremost. Thank you. Secondly, thank you to Himanshu. He's an awesome person, and I'm a big fan of him. And thanks in reverence to him to give me that opportunity to talk to you guys. I do training myself, and I treat all my students as my relatives. I don't want to say my kids, then it'll make me seem very, very old. But we become very protective, and it's almost like you're allowing a stranger to come inside your house, and you're always afraid what that person is going to do. And yet Himanshu allowed me to talk to you guys. It shows the level of trust we both share, and he's a very inspirational person, and I'm really amazed at the kind of things that he has achieved. So thanks to him, and thanks to you guys for being here. I will try to make your time be worth it. So in the next 45 minutes or so, I'll try to give you enough fodder for thought, which will hopefully help you. Otherwise, what's the point, right? So that's the intention of this 45 minutes to 50 minutes of discussion. Now, the way I conduct my classes are that I like it discussion oriented. Now, I understand that when we are having an online discussion, it's very difficult to have discussions, look at each one of you. And at the same time, there could be noise from one end, which could percolate and affect all the others as well. So here is my invitation to you guys. Those of you who are sitting in a room where there is not enough noise and whatnot, feel free to talk, ask me questions, answer the questions that I ask. I really want interaction. You see, the one thing I don't want this 45-50 minute session to be is another one of the boring sessions that we all have attended throughout our lives. That's one thing I don't want to do that, and I'm sure you would not want to sit in as well. So my humble request is I want you to interact. So that's when it's much more interactive, back and forth, and both of us will take value. Okay, so that's basically the aim. The second thing I want to tell you is what this is not. This 1 hour of discussion, even though I'll be talking a little bit about what we are and what we do, this is not just a pitch for you to take you in as a student or whatnot, right? So before I started this discussion, I was thinking, if I were you, I was sitting in your position and coming in to listen to somebody for an hour, what is it I would expect? What is it that I would take value from? So keeping that in mind, I have come up with a few thoughts, and I want to share it with you guys, right? So very quickly, an introduction to Uttara and myself before we start. Uttara has been in training for the last 25 years. We are a very closely family-held institute. We don't really hire outsiders as such. We hardly partner with outsiders. Typically, my uncle and my dad started it, and I have been doing training in programming in the Java stack for the last 15 years. So brief about myself, I'm an engineering graduate, very much like you guys, pass out of 2001 Ramaya College. And I joined a couple of companies, worked in a few IT companies. Initially, it was IT Solutions, then SAP Labs for a while. And in parallel, I started training on weekends. And then I really loved and enjoyed training and meeting and talking with youngsters, much like yourself. And I jumped full-time into training in 2008 and 2008, 2009. And I also started developing products. And anyway, for the last 10 years, I've been training full-time. That's been my number one job. I am very, very passionate about technology. I'm very passionate about product building as well. In fact, recently we built a product. I'll tell you briefly about it at the end. And if you're interested, you can check it out as well. So bottom line, I love building products in software, and I love training. So these are the two, two best things in my life, if I can say so. And that's about it. See, let's not make this discussion about me. I want this to be about you. All right. So before I start the actual discussion itself, as I said, it's going to be free talk oriented. So I have loose themes of what I want to say to you, and you will steer the conversation. I don't know if you know this, by the way, that we all go to movies and watch cinema, right? But then who comes up with the story and the script and the whole unfolding of the movie? Is it the audience or is it the director and the writer? Who is it? Who comes up with the entire storyline? Is who? That's the first question for you guys. Feel free to talk or feel free to type. Yeah, this is the director, right? Director and the writer probably both put together. They will come up with something like a script, and that script is the guide for the entire movie of sorts, right? But I don't know if you know this. In 1990s, they tried a new type of cinema where the director would actually create about 10 to 20 different endings and 10 to different storylines for the same movie. And who would guide where the movie would go is actually the audience. You see, 5 minutes the movie will go through, and there is a pause and a question is asked. What would you like this person, this character to do, for example, right? And all of them, this is a special cinema hall where each one of the, hand rests have buttons, yes or no buttons. So you can choose A, B, C, D or something like that. So you choose the option, right? And depending on how many people in that cinema hall want this character to do one thing versus other, the movie script and movie, those scenes would be merged and played. And this was way back when software was not even as cool as it is, as powerful as it is, you see, in the 1990s. Unfortunately, it flopped. But, the process of my class or this session is like that. You are the part director, right? So I know loosely where I want to head, but you are going to really make it, you're going to come up with a pathway for it. So that's why I want you to interact. Now, and that's first thing. Second thing I want to do before I jump into the topic is to ask you, or rather invite you to listen from a particular point of view. What does that mean, man? Right? We are listening now, you're listening to me, you're probably listening to something else that's happening around you. We know how to listen. Nah. I purposefully did not say hearing. I said listening. Listening is slightly different. Listening is more involved. Everybody knows, right? And you guys are all from, excuse me. You guys know this already, right? So there is nothing much more to say, but still I want to invite you to listen from a place of view, from a point of view rather, right? What is that place? Before I tell you, I have a very simple and a silly question to ask of you. So all I want you to do is to tell me this. I hope you're all able to see my screen. It's kind of a sequence thing, right? So let me remove the question mark so that you can see it clearly. And there you go. So one second. Give me a second. Yeah, I was just typing it as the class started. So there you go. It's a simple sequence, right? And I want you to tell me what is the letter that comes next. What would you fill for the sequence to be complete? Absolutely, right? It's a no-brainer. Everybody knows the answer, correct? It's what you tell kids when they have not brushed their teeth, right? E madu, right? So E. The answer is wrong, by the way. Very nice. Datta, very nice. Very nice. Some of you caught it already. Excellent. The answer E is wrong. You see, the reason is, we are so habituated. We are so used to thinking in some way that we don't even pause to understand that there could be potentially a new way of looking at things. There could be an innovative way of looking at things. And please note, software industry today is such an industry that we need innovators. You see, when I say we, I mean to say everybody, right? All the companies put together and whatnot. Excuse me. So all of us should be creative problem solvers. That is when we really will have a very deep career. And you will see as we discuss along, you will understand. So first thing is this. The one thing I want to invite you and listen from a point of view is, I do not want you to assume anything. Whatever we are going to discuss, please don't assume anything. Somebody raised their hand. I don't know what is the protocol that is followed in Himanshu's class and your standard classes that you attend. So if you're raising hand, if it means you're going to ask a question, feel free and type it out, or you can use voice. I have absolutely no problem. So coming back, the one thing I want you to do for the next 45 minutes is to don't assume anything. Meaning you already know many things. I presume most of you are 2021, 2022 pass outs. Maybe some of you are maybe 2020 pass outs as well, which basically means you are pursuing college, right? And I know many of you are from UVC, BIT, RV and whatnot. You're already smart people, right? You already know so many things. You don't need another person to come and give you gyan. So I'm going to spare you from unnecessary gyan. Rather, I'm going to share from what I know from my experience. So I'm hoping that that will have some kind of takeaway for you. But for this to work, I want you to listen from a point of view of non-assumption. All right, what does that mean here? Assumption is basically a place of view where you think you already know what is going to happen. You see, everything that I'm going to talk about today is going to be like that. Many of the things which I'm going to say is going to be contrarian to what you already think you know. You see, and I'm going to prove that as to why it is so as well. So first thing I want to invite you is don't assume, right? See, the moment we saw this, we assume what is it that should come next is E. We assume that this is a dash and on top of the dash E will come. But if on top of the dash your E will come, it doesn't form a sequence properly, you see? So what is it that should actually come? And some of you got this very smartly, by the way, yes, you're right that E should come. But how do you make an E? Is all you need to do is to place an F, you see? If you simply place an F on the dash, then what you get is A, B, C, D, E, isn't it? I know it's a trick question. It's a Mosa question, right? It's a kind of a con job. I get that. But still, it is an innovative answer if you look at it. Now, remember this, guys, in your IT career, in your whatever other core career that you're going to choose, your things are not going to be very apparent for you, very visible for you. You need to be able to innovate, think creatively, and seemingly where there are walls, you should make open doorways. How can that happen? If at all, you're going to drop out in the next 5 minutes for whatever reason, and you wanted to take away this learning of this session of 1 hour, take this. Do not assume. Question everything. You see, unfortunately in our education, at least this happened to me right through school, I used to ask so many questions. My teachers hated that. In fact, they would make me stand up on the bench and stand up outside the class also, because this yappa would ask too many questions. All right. That's what they would say. People would mark at me. And I shut up. I shut up from 5th standard. And till when I never asked question, till my engineering ended. I never asked any question. Even though the teacher would say, do you have any questions? No, madam. Go forward, right? Because we become habituated, you see. And unfortunately, what won't work is that. In fact, I remember my day 1 of my job that I got in through Ramaya. I went in and, there was some training that happened and I was put into some project. I'll spare you the unnecessary details. But this guy came, the lead, and he came and told me, hey, Vikram, I heard you just got trained in Java and you are here. What I want you to do is I want you to, bypass, I want you to hook up session beans to entity beans, and I want you to enable transaction management and replace Corba calls with, RMI. Now, I understood that English is flowing from his mouth, but I had no clue what he was talking about. You know what I did? I said, okay. You see, I didn't question. And because I didn't, obviously, I don't even know what is happening. And clearly, I was in a flummox now. I had to beg and borrow and understand from somebody else what is happening. Basically, my first 2 years, this is how it was. I hardly questioned anything that was asked, which is why it really made my life miserable. So first thing I want to tell you, and this is the takeaway, first takeaway of this, is don't assume anything, especially in your career, especially even in an interview. Question everything. And look at the word assume. If you assume, you make an ass of both you and me. So why engage in that at all? So the theme of my session is going to be that let's not assume to anything. Instead, raise the questions. Once you raise the questions, the answer will come. Thank you, Nikhil. So cool. Let's get started, right? Now, the topic on hand is this. How do we get placed in good development job in these pandemic times? Now, before I enter that, I just wanted to know sampling of you guys, by the way. Are there 2020 pass outs also, or all of you are 2021, 2022? If you have 2020 pass out or 2019, please raise your hand or say something. Okay, few of you are 2020. Cool. All right, fantastic. So 2021, good. So, why I asked you is because you have the advantage of time. You see, I am training about 750 people in a course who are 2020 pass outs. All right, and all those guys are worried sick. They are really worried what is going to happen to them, because their exams, which is starting in, some of your 2020 and 2019, this, their exams are starting on August 17th and it is ending by this end of the month. September they are out, but where are the jobs? How many jobs are there? They have complete non-clarity about what is to be done. So there is some kind of a fear that is there. So the reason why I wanted to have this discussion is to mitigate that fear, both for 2020 and more importantly for those of you who have time. Because for anything to be accomplished or achieved, we need a little bit of time. So those of you who are in 2021, etc., will be able to take the maximum value from what we are going to discuss. So now that I know many of you are what background you are from, let's get started. So the topic loosely put is this, right? So how to get placed in a good development job in these pandemic times. In fact, in a way, it's kind of a trick question, because it doesn't matter whether it is pandemic time or not, right? Now we have Corona. Tomorrow, do you know, already you have probably seen the news. There is a new virus in China that has killed 60 people. That's a brand new virus, which was found out some few years ago, but it had not affected human beings. And in the last 1 week, some 60 people are dead, all right? So Corona might become Marona or God knows what, right? So bottom line is this. One thing I wanted to quickly tell you is, in your career of whatever 30 years you're going to span, you're going to be in the workforce, right? There will be ups and there will be downs, all right? So there will be points in time where IT is booming, jobs are booming, the moment you have some experience, you can get 2-3 jobs on hand with fantastic 30, 40, 50% pay package increments and whatnot, right? You will be, in demand. Then there will be other times, you see, where the entire IT industry is going to be down, where you will not be clear as to what needs to be done. Like in this type of a situation, right? Because the number of jobs, there are jobs today, by the way. It's not that there are no jobs, but clearly it is not as much in number as it was earlier, because no company wants to hire and create a pool for themselves and spend, because they don't know when the businesses will open up. You know all those things way more probably better than me, because you would have been touching with news as well. So here is the thing. It doesn't matter whether there is an up or a down. So let me ask you this, like this. Imagine you're in the ocean. Imagine there are waves. That's exactly how the career is. It's a wave, and it's wave after wave after wave that keeps coming up. Now the question is, what do you want to do? There are some waves which are short waves, which you can easily glide over. Okay, all right. And imagine we are in the water, okay? And what is it that we do so that we don't get affected by the big waves? We don't get affected when there are no waves. We don't get affected even when there are chotu waves. What is it we should do? Well, very simple. I'm sure all of you can easily guess. What we need to do is to ride the wave, meaning you need to be on top of the wave. If you are on top of the wave, then it doesn't matter whether the wave is a chotu wave or a huge, humongous wave, because even if it is going to smash, you are going to be riding on top of it. So the gist of the next 30 minutes discussion is going to be this. How do you protect your career in such a way that you can ride the wave of IT career? You can ride the wave of being in development no matter what happens. Today it is Corona, tomorrow is something else. No matter what happens, how do you protect yourself? How do you prepare now, right? So that's basically the overarching theme. As I said, I would like it to be discussion oriented, so I want to hear from you. So please ask questions in between, use voice, absolutely no problem, right? And we will discuss and we'll change course as and when you want it, all right? Now, okay, coming to the question at hand, how do we get placed in a good development job? Everybody knows here. Many of you who are in college and who have good campus recruitment, it is pretty straightforward, right? How do you get placed in a good development job? Tell me, guys, what's the number one step? What do you do? Hello? Prepare for aptitude, right? No doubts about it. So, well, you know this angle already. That is, you are sitting in college, you are talking to seniors, you are talking to people who have got the job. So you already know how to prepare for the development job. So, or whatever jobs that are going to come for your placement recruitment, whatever companies are going to come. Now, instead of doing that way, right, I'm going to reverse this. So in our training, we typically follow, and even in your life we follow, I'm sure many of you know, we are going to follow what we call as goal-oriented approach. What does that mean, man? What is goal-oriented approach? See, imagine this. Imagine a football field, okay? Or imagine a huge field with 100 people, each one having their football, all right? Each one having their football. And they're kicking the football everywhere, all right? Now, suddenly you stop one guy and you ask him, Bas, yenappa martidi? What are you doing, right? And in fact, they are so much kicking the ball that in fact, if you try to, thwart them or interject them, they will kick us only. Imagine how seriously they're kicking the ball. And then you finally stop some guy and say, what are you doing? He's like, I'm kicking the ball. Where to? I don't know. Somebody told me to kick the ball, so I'm kicking the ball. Does this make any sense? It's as silly as somebody calls you one day and some known person, let's say, and he says, how do I go to Himalayas? And you say, what is the first question you're going to be asking? Or let's say even before he says Himalayas, no, he says, yes, tell me the direction. What is the first question you're going to ask? Who are you? Okay. Even before, let's assume you know that person. Let's assume you know that person and he's calling you. He's like, tell me the direction. The first thing you're going to ask him is, where do you want to go to, right? Where do you want to go to? Obviously, if he says Himalayas, you will tell him, oh, Bugs, why are you in Bangalore? Or why are you calling me and asking, I'm not in Himalayas? Or maybe you know the answer and you will tell them. Bottom line is, you need to know where you want to go. If you don't know where you're going to go, then we will reach some place, but it will not be pre-decided by us. It might be a good one. It might be a bad one, right? What is the second question you're going to ask him? Once he tells you, no, I want to go to Jainagar or I want to go to Mysore. Once you know the goal, who are you now, is it? Let's assume you know that person, all right? So tell me now, once you know who is calling, and you know where that person wants to head, what is the next question? Where are you now? Very good, Soumya. Where are you now? You see, these are the two magic words. In goal-based oriented approach, first thing we need to do is conjure up, where do we want to head? What do we want really? You see, you don't go to a hotel and sit there and a waiter comes and he asks you, what do you want? You only give me what you want. Do you ever do that? No, right? You always know more or less what you want, or you look at a menu and you look at the picture, you look at a rating and you figure it out. You always know what you want and you go and get it. Same way you go into a shop to, let's say, wear a shirt or buy a shirt, right? Maybe before entering the shop, you don't know which shirt you're going to buy, but you know you're going to buy a shirt, no? That's why you've entered there. And once you do, you try out the shirts, you wear them, you look at the mirror, you like what you want, you show photos to your friend or, FaceTime or whatever, and then you buy it. Now, you're never going to go there and, simply start looking at everything there and shopkeeper comes and says, Yen beku, right? You give me whatever you want, I will decide then. That's ridiculous. So the first thing I want you to understand is this: do not approach your career like me. The way I approached my career was, there was no goal. I was like, I've joined drama college, I've joined some computer science, branch. Things will happen, man. I will get placed. Where I will get placed? Yellow one. Somewhere I will get placed. Some kind of job I will have, some kind of development, some kind of pay package, some kind of, work that will be offered. Now, it so luckily happened that I got placed in a fairly okay company, nothing excellent about it. And that's a whole story altogether, which I will spare you from now. But more importantly, I got decent work. I got to be exposed to Java programming. Then I had no clue about anything, no clue about programming, no clue about Java, but somehow I got exposed. First year was a nightmare for me and I made all the mistakes in the world. And that's how I learned a little bit, actually, to speak. But bottom line is, why did that happen for me is because I did not have a goal. So where do you want to go? Right? And where are you now? This is what we need to be asking ourselves. You see, all of us want a job. Yeah, agreed. No doubts about it. But have you really thought about what kind of a job you would want? What kind of a work that would you enjoy working on? We said development. We said, I want to build product. But what does it even mean? Somebody is raising the hand. If you have a question, please type it out or ask, please. So bottom line is, the more clearer you are about the goal, the more chances are you will reach it. Do you want to be a Columbus or do you want to be a Vasco da Gama? Columbus, he said, I will go to India, right? And he had a vague notion of where India is. And he started going in the ship. And where did he land? Yeah, wherever he landed, he called them Indians, but it was in America, no? It was a completely different place, right? That's how your career is. Do not think that getting a job in campus is the end of your search of your career. No ways. What job you get, the first job you get is going to cement your career for the next 20 years. So it is super duper important. You know, it's in a way like marriage. You're not going to marry 10 times, huh? Bracket, hopefully. Jokes aside, you're going to marry one person. So whom are you going to marry? Are you going to decide like, you know, next girl I see, I will propose and marry? That's ridiculous. First of all, you might not accept, that's a different thing, and we might get one slap. But bottom line is, that's not how you decide, man. Come on. Now, why am I telling you so much? Because I made the mistake. When I was in college, I never thought about what kind of a job should I get into? What kind of a work would I want to do? And would that help me for my career or not? The only two things I looked at is, I'll tell you, whether the salary package is good, whether it is an MNC. All right. Both are ridiculous propositions. I'm not saying you should not work for an MNC, or I'm not saying you should not have a good package. You should definitely have a good pay package, no doubts about it. But it is not enough to know the company name. You see, I got in Infosys, I got in, you know, Oracle, I got in SAP. But what are you doing there, boss? You know, in SAP, there is a person who cleans the floor also. There is a person who codes also. There is a person who does management also. So who are you going to be? Remember, and I'm telling you, if you do not ask this question now, when you actually start facing the interviews, when they actually roll out the offers, you might end up in a bad place. And why am I telling you this? Because I see these people every time. I see in every batch of mine, people who are 2-3 year old pass outs, who would have gone into these companies, and they have gotten all kinds of gub work, if you allow me to say that. And they are now back, they quit the job and say, look, I did not know that I needed to get good work. So let's make it very clear. Where do you want to go? Now, just for the focus of the discussion, I'm going to say that we are all interested in entering the IT industry. So I'm not going to really, something is not better than nothing is not necessary, man. I'm telling you, because 2 years, if you work in an industry, like let's say, for example, you come out, graduate, let's say the jobs are not as good and not there enough. Let's say you get a 30,000 rupees job in a technical support role, and you got a 5,000 rupees job in a PHP development role. All right. Now 25,000 looks very lucrative, and that is definitely better than 5,000 and nothing. So let us say you chose it. Now, 2 years later, you will be stuck in that job. You hate that job. Probably you want to change, but you cannot. A, you are not a fresher. B, that means you cannot compete with the new guys. And B, you have no skills to offer for the kind of job you want to enter. So you are going to be in a dead end. And coming from there, it is possible. Very, very hard. Very hard. So let's understand this. Where do we want to go? So in the interest of our discussion, as I said, let's focus on IT industry, right? In IT industry, there are, come on guys, there are several types of companies. Yes. So tell me, first, let's classify the companies, right? Tell me the kind of companies that are there. Let's bucket them. Na? Tell me. Yes, there are startups and all that, no doubts. We'll see whether they are a better option or not. We'll discuss that. But tell me, what are the types of software companies that are there? Even before that. Yes, service-based, product-based, excellent, right? So let me just note it down. Service-based, product-based, what else? Service-based, product-based, what else? I'm asking top types of companies. Software testing, they are all roles, right? You're, software developer, they're all roles. And as a fresher, we cannot get into any different role, right? And so we are going to get into the first role that's there. Marketing analytics. I'm asking you types of software companies. There are only 4 types of companies in software, right? So either it is service-based or product-based or what else? Or if you want, just make it 3. Hybrid. I like that. It is hybrid, right? Like if I ask you, Infosys is a service company or a product company? Infosys, guys, is it a service-based company or product-based company? Both. It's a hybrid company. What is the product that Infosys has made? Created? Anybody? Guys, can I hear some of you guys? It would be awesome to hear. I'm feeling like, you know, I'm only hearing my voice. So what is anybody knows the name of the product that Infosys has created? No, not Aadhaar card, man. No. Aadhaar card, GST, they all built the software for it as services, right? No, I'll tell you, the product that Infosys has made is called Pinnacle. Pinnacle. It is the #1 product in Asia and Europe for banking. Now, many of us may not even know. By the way, working in Infosys in Pinnacle division is very different to the working in your standard services division. You see, because they have completely different work cultures, different teams, different pay packages. Anyway, bottom line is there are service-based companies, product-based companies, hybrid, as somebody said. What's the fourth one? That's the most important one, actually, that every one of us know about. No idea? It's called technology, guys. Technology. Technology-based companies, right? So service, product, technology, right? So these are three broad classifications, very, very broad. Somebody said marketing, analytics and all. They are all, horizontals. They're all verticals, right? So we're looking at horizontals, yeah, bucketing all the companies, service-based, product-based, technology-based. We all know this more or less, right? So I still want to hear from you guys, right? So name me service-based companies, guys. Every one of us know about this. These are the most popular ones, right? So your Infi guys, right? Your Wipro, your CTS, your TCS, your, whatever, STC. I mean, you just adal-badal the thing. SAP, by the way, is not service-based. SAP is a product-based company. HCL, right? DXE, and so on and so forth. We all know tons of them. When I say tons of them, we actually know only 20 of them. I don't Accenture, right? I don't think any one of us know more than 20 company names in service-based because those are the biggest 20 which are there. Birlasoft, Mahindra, and so on and so forth, right? Good. Name me some product companies. By the way, when I say product companies, remember I'm talking about the companies who are in Bangalore. We are not interested in knowing about all the product companies which are there in USA or Amazon. Yahoo, SAP, okay, Amazon, really? Okay, IBM, Capgemini fellow is kind of an in-betweener, right? Microsoft for sure, okay, Amazon. Actually, Nokia, Quotient, okay, Cisco, whatnot. All right, you know your word. Goldman Sachs is a bank, right? So the software division is a service to that bank, right? So it kind of comes in the service-based company. Now, name me some Indian product companies, guys. You are only naming some, all American-based. Name me some Indian product companies now, and I'm only talking software. Nokia, Subex, very good. Subex is definitely one, right? Flipkart, okay. What else? All that Tantra, Mintra, right? Mintra, which got taken over. Come on, guys. There are so many product companies in which are Indian made. Name Ola, okay, very good. Ola. Another thing like Ola, you can just make sounds, right? Oyo. Qualcomm is not Indian based, right? Tech Mahindra is not a product company. Bounce, Micromax. So Micromax is unfortunately down. Zomato, Swiggy, you know the works, right? All your Big Basket and so on and so forth, right? All these are product companies, right? And I'm sure you would have heard of Zoho, guys. Zoho, Freshdesk. These are really Zoho is one of the companies which has taken over Microsoft and Google, and still their products are amazing, right? So it's a Chennai-based firm, right? And it's there in Bangalore as well. So bottom line is these are product companies. We know that, right? You can see that I purposefully did not classify Amazon, Google, Microsoft, right? Symphony is services. That's why it's called Symphony Services, right? Wipro is definitely a services-based one, right? So now, what are these technology companies? So let's try to understand what these guys do in the first place, right? See, we said we want to know where to go, but we need to know what kind of jobs are offered, right? What do these guys do in the first place? I'm sure many of us know this. HP product, they have a product division, they have a service division. Got that. All of us know enough number of companies, right? So now tell me this, what do service companies do? Primary service companies, right? What do they do? Hi guys, we have only 20 minutes left. So what do service companies do? We need to know this because remember, consulting. work in some tools. All right. So primarily what they do is very simple, guys. They provide services, right? What do product companies do? They build products. What do technologies companies do? Ashtu gothilva, technology. Just kidding. So what, you're right. They give services, right? But what is that? What is that service? The primary service of a service-based company is to build software. For what? For what? For two things, no? For a particular requirement, for a particular client, right? Both are particular, right? Build software for a client for a particular need, right? Nothing but what we call as requirements. That's what they do, right? So, and that could involve maintenance, whatever that involves, right? That could involve analytics, machine learning, whatever that involves. Service guys are these, right? They will just basically give you build software for a client, particular client for a particular need. So it is based on two things, really. Either it is T&M based, that means time and material based, right? Or it is going to be resource based, right? So, or time, basically only project based, sorry. So project based or T&M based. These are the two ways billing happens, right? Meaning what? 100 developers are working on this project per month. You know, this is the billing that they will make the client. So as long as the company's, as long as the project is there, all 100 people get billed and the customer pays that money. This is how the entire IT outsourcing happened, and India became very well known. Bangalore became very well known in the world map of software industry through services, right? So now here is the thing. So let me ask you this. To draw an analogy, it is like this. In your house, if you have, like, let's say electricity problem, your bulb is not working properly, there is a grounding problem, right? Some fan is not behaving properly, some TV is not working properly. If TV is not working properly, whom do you bring? Whom do you call? Typically you call an electrician. Maybe that is from that company or not is secondary, but you call an electrician, correct? Now I want to ask you this. How much do we pay the electrician for a service they give versus how much you pay for the TV? Which is more, obviously? TV. It's a no-brainer, right? Obviously, because TV is the product. Tell me how many people are there in these service-based companies on an andaj, the bigger ones I'm talking about, right? The Infosys and Wipros. How many lakhs of people or how many thousands of people? How many? How many are there, guys? There are lakhs, right? So anywhere upwards of 1 lakh to 4 lakh people, right? 3 point odd or whatever. Wipro has, sorry, TCS has close to 3 lakh developers, right? 1 to 3 lakh people. It's huge. It is a ship, man. Hadug it is. All right. Now, what about, let's come to, and by the way, what is the pay package they offer? Something very important for all of us. Traditional service companies. Yes, 3.5, right? Upwards, maybe let's say 3.5 to 5 lakhs, maybe. Okay. 2 lakhs. Some of them have, you know, they misuse the time and they go below also. You know the surprising thing, I graduated out of Ramaya College in 2001. You know what was the salary of Infosys, Wipro and all that at that point in time? It was exactly the same as it is now. Exactly the same. About 25,000 rupees, you know, between that 25 to 30,000 rupees. It was 2.8 or 3 or something like that, right? Look at this, 15, that's, I mean, 2001 is what, man? It's 19 years ago. 19 years ago, what salary was offered, now also the same salary is being offered. Is our money worth the same now? No way, man. If you look at inflation, I remember first salary that I got, I did not know how to spend it because I came from zero and now I suddenly have some 15,000 rupees. I didn't know how to spend it. That was a whole lot of money. But today, 15,000 rupees is nothing, isn't it? So bottom line is 3.5 to 5 lakhs. Got that. Now keep that in mind. We'll very quickly, I hope I'll be able to finish this discussion. Tell me product-based. Product-based companies, are they more in number in comparison to service-based or less? Obviously less, right? Because how many companies make TV versus how many electricians are there? Electrician companies are more, obviously, right? So less in number, but tell me, what kind of pay package do they offer? Typically, and I'm including startups in this. And when I say startup, I mean only one kind of a startup, a funded startup. I'm not talking about those startups where you give money and work for there or, you know, work for free. No. Never work for free anywhere. All right. So I'm talking about funded startups. So tell me, what is the, 6 plus typically? 6 to, let's put a range, right? 6 to 8, 9 maybe? More than service, for sure. Question, why is it more than service? Why do they pay more? I mean, they are hiring from us now, all freshers, right? Why is it that product companies offer more? Anybody? Workload is more? No, not necessarily. How much can you work, man? You have 10 hours a day you can work. After that, you can't, no matter who it is. Just because they make products, why is it more? Innovation, designs, desired products. Well, for the very simple reason. Tell me, take Infosys for example. What is the turnover of Infosys? Approximately, how much money do they make? Yearly. You should know these things, guys. These are super important. You want to be a part of this industry. You need to know what it contains, right? So Infosys earns about, and I might be wrong, roughly about $3 to $4 billion, right? Let's just look at it dollars to make it easier, right? $4 billion per year, right? Huge. And it's a mammoth from any company point of view. Product companies. Take, for example, SAP, all right? SAP made about $15 billion. I might be wrong. It should be 15 to 20. I have not looked at the recent, this one, right? So 15 to 20 billion dollars, right? Actually, we have the internet. We can look it up. I wish I had the time. I would have shown you a nice cross section of companies. But anyway, so basically it is 5 to 10 times bigger. And I'm just talking of one of them, right? 5 to 10 times bigger. And how many employees do they have? They have far less employees, man. They have only 50K. 50K employees, that's out of that, there are only about 20,000 or so actual developers. So look at this, 20,000 developers earning $20 billion. Whereas here, 3 lakh or whatever, 1 lakh, 3 lakh people earning $4 billion. Obviously, you do the math. The starting pay will be lesser in service-based companies. Nothing bad about it. Nothing wrong at all. If you join any of these companies, you need to know this though. You need to know the math. All right. So then you have product companies. Okay, what do these product companies do? As we said, they make products which typically are taken by service-based companies and implemented elsewhere, right? Like for example, SAP makes SAP product, ERP, the #1 ERP in the world. Infosys, Wipro, Accenture, they take that SAP, they implement it in all the companies and they take money. But how much money do they make? SAP makes 10 times more, whereas 1x will be made by these service-based companies because they're after all implementing, they're not creating. Remember this, guys, creation, what you create will have more value than what you copy paste. Something is already there, you do the same thing, you will never be given as much value as the person who created it. Think Mona Lisa, for example. Think your, Tanjavur painting, for example, right? How many copies of Mona Lisa are there in the world? There are millions of copies. You can buy them for $100, 100 rupees, man. But one Mona Lisa, even $1 billion is not enough to get it. It's the most expensive thing. Creation has power. We're going to talk about that in a minute. Now, technology based. First, let's understand what are technology based, because this I'm sure you are able to relate to. What are the technology based companies? Well, these guys make technologies which are used both by product based companies and service based companies. In fact, most of these products are running all the technologies that these technology based companies create. I'm sure you know the answers. What are those companies, guys? You said it already. For example, Amazon, right? Your Google, your Microsoft, right? Oracle to an extent, right? Apple. These are called technology companies. By the way, look at the numbers. We have, oh, I forgot to ask you this. In Bengaluru, how many software companies are there? Service, product, technology, all put together in one bucket. Tell me approximately in Bangalore, man, how many software companies are there? Approximately, guys, be quick. Is it 100? 200? How many companies, guys? 10,000? Oh my God, 10,000 really? 50? 50, so less, huh? Come on, man. Here only we have 50 names more or less, right? Around 90. No, you're right. Nikhil, you're right. the last analysis found that there are 8 to 10,000 companies in Bangalore. Only software I'm talking about. So look at that. It's 10,000 companies. It's not a small number. Right? It's a humongous number. Out of this, we might know maximum, we might have heard of 50 companies, or your super punter means 100 companies. But there are 10,000 companies. Majority of them service-based. Very few product-based. Technology-based, probably you can count in one hand, not even 4 or 5. You see, that means the number of technology-based companies are lesser, and whatever these companies create, they are used by all product companies, all service companies, right? Like what has Amazon created that almost all software product companies, use? I'm sure you know. What has Amazon created? They not the selling, AWS, right? Amazon Web Services, right? Amazon Web Services is just one of them. There are other things also by them. Amazon Web Services typically is what is used by everybody. See, I represent a product company, by the way. I'm the technology and product head in that firm as well. And we have used our entire application is running on Amazon Web Services. All right. So AWS Cloud or whatever you call it. That's right. So, and every 3 million products, 3 million product companies across the world are running on Amazon Web Services. Similarly, Google, everybody uses Google, right? So without Google, you can't even do anything, right? Same way Microsoft, Azure and whatnot, right? Oracle, their stack, Oracle database, Apple, and they have their own stacks and whatnot. Bottom line is, these are technology companies. Can you tell me the kind of pay package that these guys offer? By the way, they have about 40 to 50, 60K people, right? And yeah, their pay package starts from, these might be big heavy duty companies, right? There are smaller ones also, right? They start with typically 15 lakhs or whatever it is, right? I know many of our, students in UV and Ramaya and Ambedkar and all, they got like 12. So one of them got, I think 10 of them got 10 lakhs and 2 of them got 24 lakhs and whatnot. All these technology companies, right? So 15 lakh plus. Now, here is the question for you. Where would you want to be? Is in your hand. You see, this is one bucket, this is one bucket, this is one bucket. Where would you want to land? Obviously, from a money point of view, no doubts about it. From a branding point of view, no doubts about it. But so knowing how many thousand companies are there in Bangalore, knowing that these are the 3 types of companies that are there, will help us determine what type of company we want to get into. And no doubts, we'll all want to get into technology. Whether it is possible or not is secondary. We would want that. Next thing is what? What is the next question? Where do you want to go? And where are we now? You see, when can you get into any of these firms is when you know where you are and when you know what these companies expect. So coming back to the goal-based approach that I started off with, instead of asking you what to prepare, I'm going to ask you to think like these companies. Think of a service-based company, Infosys, Wipro, blah, blah. Think you are that company. You have come to your college to hire freshers. Tell me, what do these companies look at you? As freshers, what and all should be the merit of a person for them to be able to get a job in any of these service-based companies? Tell me, what do you think they expect? Somebody said you start with aptitude. That's the first round that will be there typically, right? Good in coding. Yes, okay, good in coding. Today it has happened, which is I'm very, very happy about. So let's make it very specific. Instead of saying skills and let's make it more specific. Technical skills, what technical skills? Should you know compiler design, FAFL? Which one? What is that? Let's quantify it. Now, the more clear we are, the more this one is. Communication skills. Question, is this required or not for these guys? Service-based companies? Required. Why is it required? Is because service-based companies, many of the team members will actually be facing calls with customers, right? And you want to sound nice, you want to sound pleasant, sound right, because that creates branding and whatnot. So communication skills are important. All right. Programming skills. Excellent, Akshita. So programming skills. Programming skills are important or not, guys? Absolutely, yes. No doubts about it. How many programming languages should one know? Is it important? Is the number important? Or is it just general programming that is required? What do you think? One. So general programming skills, right? General programming skills, like given a problem, you should be able to solve it. Whether you C or Java or whatever, doesn't really matter, which is good, right? And general programming skills, typically one language, right? One language. And some of you said, yes. Okay, cool. I'll answer some of your questions that you asked privately. So one language typically that you need to be good at. Got it. Got it. Now, back in my time, that was not even the case. They simply would ask some simple tech questions, and no coding, nothing, just answer that and you get the job, right? It was very, very silly and very, very easy. So as you said, what is it that they really look for is some kind of logic, like logical reasoning skills, right? Logical reasoning, problem solving, as it's called. I get that. I totally get that. All right, let's move on. We hardly have time, guys. My usual discussion is for 2 hours. Unfortunately, I don't have the time. Team player, all right. They look at, that's why, because they look at team and all that, many of these guys have GDs, right? Group discussions, right? They assess you, how you are understanding the point, how are you answering, listening skills, talking skills, blah, blah, whatnot. All right, all these are there. Now tell me product-based, what do they care about? Question, do they care about, and by the way, I had forgot to ask you, what about your percentage, man? Your results. Do they care about it or not care about it? Service-based companies, I'm saying. They don't care, really. Even a 50% aggregate person can go and write any of the companies. I don't know what it is right now, because back in my time, they cared. Back in my time, if you did not have 70% throughout, you could not even write for these companies, right? They have cutoffs, right? Okay. Some, whatever level cutoff, right? Some results, some cutoff in some percentage, some cutoff percentage, 60, 70, whatever it is, right? All right, cool. Thanks, guys. Now, product-based companies, let's be very quick. Tell me, product-based companies, do they really care about your results? What do they care about? They don't care about results, no aggregate. They don't care. In fact, companies hire from us, by the way. We are associated with at least 200 very close companies and another 400 companies whom we serve regularly. And they come and hire from us all the time. We have more placements than any college, typically. And they don't care. We have placed even people who have your backlogs, right? Even today, coincidentally, we just placed a person in a company called Mellow Systems, and he has 2 backlogs, but yet the company doesn't care, and it's a product company, right? So no aggregate, they don't care as much. But what do they definitely care about? Okay, do they care about communication skills as much? Product companies, do they really care? Would you be talking to clients and all that? No way. So no communication skills, right? They don't really care as much about that. All right, what is it they care about then? Programming, you said, some of you said programming, logical reasoning, this is a common factor. Yes, no GD, they don't really care, right? And what is it? Coding skills. Now tell me, what do you mean by coding skills? What is it that if you have done, is it 100% assured thing that you will get a job in one of the product companies, one of the funded startups? Problem solving, yes. But let me tell you, you know what should be your resume? Your resume, like, okay, let me ask you this. What is the best resume a fresher can have? Best resume. Very nice. Very nice, Nishan. The best resume a fresher can have today, right? I'm not talking about back in the day. Today is if you have built your own apps. That's it. If you have built a couple of apps end to end on your own, then that's your calling card. In fact, your resume is nothing but your link to your GitHub or Git. I'm sure many of you know what Git or GitHub is. It's a place where you can put your code, right? And anybody can come and see it and use it if you have opened it up and whatnot, right? Many of you might have used it as well. Your link to your GitHub is your resume, guys. Gone are the days where, you need to build one paper resume where you say, I know this, blah, 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 and you send it. Somebody sees that, oh, important, adbhuta person, come, right? And then conduct interview. Come on, gone are those days. Nobody has the time, you see. So clearly, you want to make it into product companies, you have to start programming. You have to code. You have to have deep competency right? In not one programming language though, minimum two is required, right? And ideally, what is it you need to become? I'm sure you know this. Unfortunately, I'm running out of time. Can I take 15 minutes extra, guys? Is that, are you having a session? Sure. Okay. Thanks, guys. I hope everybody feels the same. Okay. Thank you. So I'll just end in 15 minutes. Okay. Because I have never done any session with 1 hour. Okay. I always need at least 2 hours or whatnot. So anyway, bottom line, I'll talk about best websites for off campus as well. So bottom line is this: 2 programming languages. Can you tell me? So can you tell me what languages should you learn, or tell me one answer. If you have built an app in this, you will get the job. No, it's not, Python. It's not Java necessarily. No, they don't really care. No, they care about only one thing. Do you know? Full stack. That's it. Are you a full stack developer or not? Full stack means, I'm sure many of us know this, you're built on the client side, browser, mobile, etc. Plus you're built server side, right? So are you aware of client side and server side programming? It could be MERN. There are so many stacks, by the way. There is a JavaScript full stack. There is a MERN stack. There is a mean stack, right? There is a Python JavaScript stack. I'll just comment some of your audio, guys. The voice is coming through. The noise is coming through. Sorry. So there is a Python JavaScript stack. Doesn't matter. Ruby Rails stack, right? So it doesn't matter. Remember this: language doesn't matter. I know maybe you have thought about it otherwise. Python is coming up. Java is going down. Somebody else will say something else is better. Remember this: it is not the language that matters. It is what you can do with it that matters. It is how good you know about it that matters. All right, we're going to come to that. That's the next stage of discussion, right? So first thing to understand is what each type of company is looking at. Based on that, knowing where we are, and based on that, coming up with a plan. So I want to leave you with a plan so that you can execute that and have yourself be placed in the companies of your choice, right? So full stack. Full stack means client side, server side. So let me ask you some trivia, some fun questions, silly questions maybe, but many of you may know. Tell me this: which is the #1 most executed programming language of all time? #1. C. Java. HTML is not a programming language. Very good. Some of you know this. It is not C, it is not C++, it is not Java, it is certainly not Python, but it is JavaScript. All right? Certainly not Kotlin. It's a very new language, right? I'm talking about most executed programming language every day. It is JavaScript. All right? JavaScript runs on all browsers. 5 billion people use browsers are connected to the internet. 3 billion people use internet every day. That means 3 billion people are executing JavaScript. No Java, no bus Python, no language, no C comes close to it. You see? Okay, you need to know this. JavaScript. All browsers, client side, run JavaScript. No time to explain further on that, right? So JavaScript. Server side, well, which is the language? There are many languages. You can really be good at anything. It doesn't matter. A language is like a tool. It's like your hammer, your spanner, right? I mean, they themselves don't have any virtue. It is the wielder of it who has the virtue, right? How well you know to use a spanner is what differentiates you from another person, right? So, which means don't be married to the language. Like one day, one person came and told me, I was conducting Java training, and after that, this guy came and said, "Sir, this company you sent me to offered me a Python job. I want Java. I learned with you Java. Java is my waifu or whatever. Okay, I want to be with Java only." He said, "Appa, why you are bothered, man? Right? If you have got a Python job and it's a development job, why do you even care? Just go for it. Sir, I don't know. I've not been taught. Array, you did not know Java earlier. Now you know something. This is enough for you to pick up Python on your own." Bottom line is this. By the way, thank you for asking. Somebody said that. I wanted to call it out. So bottom line is this. It doesn't matter which language you learn, but I will tell you, you have to learn, and today we don't have the time, maybe I'll invite you for another session. You have to learn ideally, one OO language which is statically typed and one OO language which is dynamically typed. You see, this is what would be the most best perfect recipe for you. Well, nowadays Python is very important. That's all farce, guys. I'm telling you, the maximum number of jobs that are there still today is in Java and JavaScript. Okay, that's when the maximum number of jobs, that's where the maximum of jobs are. We know this because we are placing people every day. They know number of companies who come for Python are lesser. Yes, Python is important. Python has picked up speed in machine learning, but not many people get hired in machine learning at a fresher level. All right. So they prefer PhDs, they prefer who know data science and so on and so forth. I'll not go to explain this, but please note, one O language statically typed, one O language dynamically typed. I'll not, no time to explain this. Statically typed is like Java, dynamically typed is Python. Okay. So to server side programming. The advantage of Python, I tell you, if you learn Python, you have more types of jobs you can apply to. You can do server side programming, you can do scripting, you can do DevOps, you can do automation, you can do, data science, right? So there are applications, many applications up there. So that means what? Now look at this. Java and JavaScript are completely different, by the way, right? So JavaScript is dynamically typed and Java is statically typed, completely different, right? So these are the three things that are there, right? So JavaScript, no choice. By the way, when I say JavaScript, I would prefer, or what would be preferred is to learn TypeScript. Fundamentals of JavaScript and TypeScript. TypeScript is a new language and it's very nice actually to speak, and it's a wrapper over JavaScript. So let's simply say JavaScript for no confusion, right? So JavaScript for client side and either Java or Python or both for server side. Okay. And of course you need to know a database, both SQL and NoSQL, right? So that comes together in server side. So I'll not even call it out separately. Some database, and in fact, I'll call it data stores, right? So which means, here is the thing. If you know this much, you are assured a job. You can call the shots, all right? You can say, this is the type of company I want to join and get the job there. Now, I don't know about you. What do you want to be? You want to apply to 20 companies and somehow alak bulak get one company? Or you want to say, I'm not going to apply to 20 companies are coming. I'm not going to apply. I'll apply only to 3. Get all the 3 offers and join a 4th one. What do you want to be? Is your choice. I'm going to give you the plan. If you simply stick to the plan, your career, your future will be in your hands, not in the mercy of the universe. Or do you want to ride above the wave? Do you want to get hit by the wave? Total choice is ours, guys. You will see. Anyway, these are the 3 things. It looks very daunting. Some of you are non-computer science guys. This looks like a 4-year-old program only. Nah, I'll tell you, all of these things you can learn in about roughly 4 months time, provided you put in the effort, right? So roughly about 4 months, you can become fairly good. And I will not again go into the reasons of why. By the way, computer science guys, you are in the same boat. Okay. Only non-computer science guys think computer science people know everything, right? Only computer guys, science guys know, computer science people know that we also don't know anything. You see, the only thing we know are some words, right? I'm not saying that you guys have not put effort. You guys have put in a lot of effort maybe, but come on, man, 60 subject in 4 years, really? Can you become good at anything? It is impossible. The way our education system has been set up, it has been set up for us to fail. It has been set up to create mediocres, right? Not at all good programmers. I mean, think about it, guys. If you had Java or Bus, Python or Scala or Ruby or Gooby or whatever, 2 years you learnt. Tell me, Isaac, is there a chance that you would be bad at it? Impossible, isn't it? You would have become a rock star, man, isn't it? But no, 4 years. In that 8th semester, in that Corona will come, in that online class, in that 1 month internship, this one, on top of the internship, on top of the project, on top of that you have to do Maja also. I am also a computer science engineer. You asked me how much I knew? Nothing. Maybe you guys are smarter than me. All right. So bottom line is, you have to put in that effort, computer science or otherwise, right? And when I say effort, I am not meaning theoretical effort. There is only one thing that matters, guys. Only one thing. And remember, all of these things I did not know. So I was complete, you know how brash I was? Even the first company who came and recruited from us, it was Wipro. I did not even sit in that company. All my friends who got placed, he came out and said, hey, why did you not write the exam? By the way, I had a poor percentage also. Okay. And this guy asked me, why did you not write the exam? You are eligible for this Wipro, because I had the cutoff for it. And I said, have you seen their chitra of their logo? It is a sunflower. I hate that sunflower. That's why I didn't join. This is how I did not join that company. I mean, I did not attend that drive. After that, next 25 companies did not allow me to sit in their test because I did not have enough percentage. All right. 26th company, Alakmel Bulak, I got the job. Anyway, I don't want to make it about me. Bottom line is this. You want to take control of your future. You have to become good at full stack. So there is not enough times. As I said, I will not go too much in depth. What do the technology guys need? Technology guys, it appears that they might care more about programming language, isn't it? No, they care about only one thing. Only one thing. Whether you have finished engineering, not finished, whether you have finished, you have degree, no degree, percentage, no, nothing. Only one thing. Now, what is it? All technology companies will interview. Yes, very good. It's DSA. That's it. Data structures and algorithms. That's all. That's the foremost things, right? Data structures and algorithms. And of course, when I say DSA, again, not theory, implementation. Implementation of data structures and algorithms, right? How can you apply? It's obviously a little more complex than your full stack. And full stack is obviously more complex than general programming. You see? But I'm telling you, all of these are there in your hands. None of these are rocket science. You just need to make up your mind. The first thing you need to do is decide that I want to head there. You have to say, okay, after my college, I'll go to Goa for 1 week vacation. Once you make up your mind that you want to go to Goa, then the preparation will start now. Oh, 1 week means where will I stay? Hotel, airport, corona, mask, this, that, everything you will decide. So first make up your mind. What is the type of company you would want to apply to? And let me also tell you one caveat. If you prepare for technology-based companies, you will automatically get in product-based companies and service-based companies, right? Without a doubt. So clearly, you no wonder that if you are really wanting the best for yourself, that's how. See, when you go to a hotel, right? Again, I'm coming back to the same analogy. You order for a dosa. Dosa comes. And in that dosa, let's say one part of the dosa is completely burnt, full cup. All right. And another part of the dosa has some stick, some, plastic that is attached to it. Are you going to be okay with it? You go to the shop to wear a shirt, buy a shirt, 2,000 rupees, Levi's shirt, tooth. Okay. Not the tooth pant that we buy by giving extra money. The shirt, where it's torn. Question. Are you going to be okay with it? Yes or no, guys? No way, man. Come on. Sir, 2,000 rupees I'm paying. How dare he gives me this one? I'm paying 50 rupees for the dosa. How dare he is going to give me a cup dosa? You see? Now, when we are so particular about such small things, please be very particular about career. Such a big thing. You see? Career is such a big thing. 30 years you will be spending. Don't go the way I went, blindly into it. Alakmel Bulak, let whatever happen, I will go for it. Do not do that. Have a plan, have a goal, and then you'll be in a better place to apply, right? So by the way, even technology-based companies, you should have built multiple applications, ideally full stack, and you should have a competency on the data structures and algorithms. Again, it's sounding like Gyan, I didn't want to tell you that, but basically, where are you now? That's what matters now, right? How good are you in programming? In fact, I wanted to do a reverse engineering approach. If you see, the first thing you need to do is learn one programming language well. And when I say that, minimum 1,000 programs you need to code. If you don't code 1,000 programs, you cannot become good at it. Very simple as that. Now, second thing you need to be doing is you need to be learning full stack, right? And build 1 or 2 apps on it. It'll require 4 to 6 months of time, but it is well worth the effort. Where to learn? Well, remember, it's like you want to go from place A to place B. You have multiple ways of going. Either you take a map and you see the map, figure out the directions, and you go on your own. Or you have a GPS. GPS will tell you where to do, where to go, what to go, when to take left, when to take right. Meaning, there are some, maybe some of you might prefer joining a training institute. Some trainer might train. Like for example, I train. So maybe you like Himanshu trains, right? He knows already everything, all the ins and outs of aptitude. So when you learn it from him, you will learn faster. So something that you might take 6 months or 8 months to learn, you might learn it in 3 months or 4 months, right? You can learn through Udemy. Udemy is not all that great, guys, by the way, because everything is superficial. You know, in Udemy, 30 hours course, 15 hours course, 700 rupees, 1,000 rupees, right? 5 stars, 20,000 people watched. How can you become good at 10 hours, man, and 15 hours? To explain what is Java, what is Python, what is statically typed language, what are the merits? Personally, I take about 15 hours. Just what is it? You have to learn not surfacely, man. You have to learn in depth. So, Udemy is going to cut it. If you're going to go Udemy way, no problem. Please spend at least 2 times the Udemy hours in programming. Then you will learn on your own. You see? So, absolutely you can learn on your own, no problem. But you'll have to put in a little more effort, right? That's all. So, clearly full stack and you can definitely go to any institute or trainer or whatever and learn this faster, right? And then lastly put problem solving, right? So problem solving, I unfortunately don't have the time, right? And remember, learning in depth. Let me ask you, okay? So silly question, computer science guys, so you know about this. Can you build me a function? Doesn't matter which language. Let's say Java or let's say C, okay? Can you build me a function that adds 2 numbers and returns the result? Yes or no, guys? Cannot be a simpler program than this, nah? Tell me the code. Tell me the code quickly. What should it be? Public, forget the public, what? It's a function, nah? Everybody knows, even electronics people will know. Int A, int B, right? What will you name the function? Subtract, huh? No. What will you name it? Add, okay? Sum, very good. How many parameters? Two parameters, right? Int A, comma, int B. All right, what is the return data type? Int, very good. And what is the body? Depending on the syntax of the language, what will you do? Add, return A plus B, correct? Something like this. Yes or no, guys? Is this correct or not? No. This is ABCD, E, whatever I asked, no? Most of the question. Don't fall for the trap. You write code like this, then you cannot imagine how many things will go wrong. You see, there is a huge problem here in as silly a problem as this, right? What did I ask you? I said, write a function in C or Java, whatever, right? To add 2 numbers. This is what I asked you, right? There are multiple problems. I'm giving you quick recipe into how to program, how to think in programming. All right. First question. Did I tell you what type of numbers we are talking about? I didn't tell you. Who told you that they are integer numbers? Illa sir, ನೀವು ಹಂಗೆ ಹೇಳಿದಾಗಲೇ ನಾನು ಅನ್ಕೊಂಡೆ. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮುಖ ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತು. Integer. You see? How do you know, yaar? Are you going to do this in your, when you enter a job, you look at a customer, sir, I heard this customer's voice. I understood. He needs data from this table only. Right? This is ridiculous, man. Remember, the first step in programming is to ask questions. Do not jump the gun. Do not assume. I told you, don't assume. Theme of this class, right? You have to ask question. What is the question you will ask? What's the question you will ask, guys? What data type? To customer you will ask. What data? Sir, what data type everybody? Function name everybody. Body onchuru everybody. Naan code maadi kotte bidtini. Is that the way we can go about it? No, but I'm just pulling your leg, right? So what type of numbers? You're right, right? User requirements. Give me some examples. What numbers are you talking about? Are we talking about whole numbers? Are we talking about decimals? Are we talking about complex numbers? Are we talking about Fourier transform numbers? Are we talking about rational numbers, irrational numbers? What are we talking about? We don't know. First, ask questions. Second question, if they are integers, now tell me, is this the right code or not? If they are integers, I say, no, whole number only put up. Then also no. You see, because limits, very good. How do you know how much, what is this integer number that it's going to be? You have to ask me, I'm the customer, right? Two integer numbers, if I'm going to give, what is the range? You see, one of them, the range might be 1 billion digits. Now tell me, I said, not 1 billion value, 1 billion digits. Like for example, if you have 13 digits, what do you call it? Billion. 13 digits means billion. If you have 1 billion digits only, can you imagine how big the number is? It's not a billion. You should say trillion, and you should keep on going because there are 1 billion digits. Question. Can you be asked to write a program like that where you add two numbers where each number is 1 billion digit long? Yes or no? Or are you going to say, sir, 10 and 20 kudi bega madkodu. Come on, yaar. You might be involved in building a program for CERN Institute, or you might be building a program for Aadhaar, for example. The numbers are in billions, huge numbers. This doesn't cut it. Okay, let me ask you. Then that means you need to know the ranges of these integers. I don't know whether you know it already. Each range of integers, typically in a 32-bit system, is 2 billion value, right? 2 billion value. So now let me ask you. No, don't worry. It is whole number only. No complex, no Fourier transform. It is each value is less than 2 billion only. Now tell me, is this right or not? Yes or no, guys? I have another 9 minutes. So I'm going to finish this. Wrong. Still wrong. Still not okay. Why not okay? Why not okay? Because in Java, in C, when you add 2 billion plus 2 billion, any third standard Chotu kid will say 2 plus 2 is 2. He will say Naku 4. 4 billion, isn't it? But in Java, if I simply add, or in C or in C++, if I simply pass 2 billion and 1, I'll get a fantastic, wonderful value, minus 2 billion. Price kodbek. Look at this. Take a positive number, take another positive number, and add and get super dod negative number. Does this make any logical sense? No, but that's how it works. This is how every language works, by the way. Every language. You need to know overflow. And this is not theory. You need to know practically. Even to add a simple, you want to write a simple program to add two numbers, you have to think a little bit. You have to follow a process. And only then will you become a good programmer. Just writing this code is okay to get marks in college. Not in the real world. In the real world, in a product company or a technology company, they expect you to know in depth. You see, you should know an integer. If I add another integer, don't you know Gangnam Style or not, guys? Gangnam Style, the dance, right? YouTube designer had named the count as integer data type. So it reached 2 billion into 1 month. Everybody in the world is saying Gangnam Style, Gangnam Style. And YouTube people are saying Chali Jara. Why? Because the moment they reach 2 billion plus 1 minus 2 billion. They had to overnight change the entire architecture of YouTube count numbering, hit count numbering, watch count numbering, right? Why? Because they had made a mistake. So you need to change this. Okay. Question. Can long hold 1 billion plus 1 or not? Sorry, 2 billion plus 1 or not? Yes, you can. By the way, some of you are not from computer science. You don't know about these things. Don't worry. I told you, no, there is not much of a difference between any of us, right? It's some people know a little bit more, some people know a little bit less. All of us are very far away from the line. Some of you might be really good, I know that, but I'm just putting all of us in the same box, right? So 2 billion plus 1. Now tell me, return data type long. Is this right? Yes. Now people are scared. Riske bada kana. ಯಪ್ಪ ಹೇಗಿದ್ರು ಉಲ್ಟಾನೇ ಹೇಳೋದು, right? The answer is no, this is also wrong. Why? Because again, int plus int will give an int. Even though your return data type is long, it doesn't work. So okay, will this work or not? Long result is equal to a plus b return result. Will this work? No, it won't work. In Kannada we say too bad I don't have my writing thingy, otherwise I'd have shown you. In Kannada we say this is what we get. What is that? A pail of water. Yeah, you understood. Yes, right? It's a bucket. All right. So bucket in Kannada, you know what I mean. Bottom line is this won't work. So why did I tell you this? Sir, what are you trying to say? Well, let me tell you what I'm trying to say. Surfacial knowledge of anything doesn't help. You need to know in depth. You need to start from scratch, go in depth and program on your own. Get your hands dirty, code. And then is when you graduate to apps. And when you do, you need to, and remember this, you don't need to learn tens of languages, right? But you need to learn definitely if you want to assured a job. Assured. It doesn't matter how long you take. Some of you are 2019, 2020. Sir, what am I going to do? Don't worry, answer is the same. Your degree doesn't matter. Your percentage doesn't matter. Your college doesn't matter. What matters is, do you know how to program? Have you built apps? Full stack, that is your calling card. Your visiting card is that. I am a full stack developer. Go to this website, I build madid nane. That's me who has built it. If that is what you show, come on, I say, what do product companies need? They want to use you to build products only, na? They don't care about anything else. So they will be happy to take you. So think from the company point of view and then you project yourself. If you simply do this, I assure you guys, at least the 1 year you have left, you will use it wisely, right? So again, I'm telling you so many things, but I simply don't have the time to give you the full pathway, right? Maybe we should meet some other time. I'll talk to Himanshu, we'll see that. But one thing I want to tell you, I do training, right? And I'm in this Corona time, because these things are happening and people are finding it difficult and all that. Thank you. So I'm going to start in September, a 1-month training program. And that's a full stack thingy where I do JavaScript and I do Java also and I do Python also, but not all in 1 month. But 1 month, why do I say 1 month? Because 1 month is free. Okay, we don't charge anything. All right. So I would be happy, and I will talk to Himanshu as well. I promise you that you will enjoy every session, you will learn everything. But basically, you will become as good as me at a minimum, and you will take away from there, right? So the whole intention is you guys are the future of our nation and our world. So you guys must become excellent, right? So I'm going to conduct a free training session. I need you to take a test though, because we have some scoring metrics and whatnot. So I'll talk to Himanshu, give you a link, and unfortunately, I don't have enough time to answer many of your questions. So I know many of you had some doubts, right? Maybe I'll do a follow-up to this. If you guys are available, I don't mind meeting you guys another half an hour or so one of the other days. And you can ask me questions. I will tell you everything that I know of, right? How the industry works, what is product company, why do they look at aptitude or not look at it? What is data structures and algorithms? Is it our 3rd semester subject that you need to learn, or is it something else? Is machine learning going to take over the world? What is happening? How do you become a machine learning expert? Learn to ask questions and we go in depth, right? So that's the emphasis of my entire training. I thank you a lot for joining me for this 1.5 hours of discussion. I hardly give you a break. I really want to hear you guys though. Let me tell you, in my 15 years of training and my last 5 months of COVID training, this is the first time I have done a class where I've not heard you guys. So at least can I hear you at the end? So you can say bye.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Awesome.
Thank
All
you,
right.
sir.
Now I feel like the blood is
Thank
coming
you,
back to
sir.
me. Thank you. Awesome, guys. It was
Thank you, sir.
phenomenal.
Sir.
Thank you. It was
Thank you,
phenomenal
sir.
to meet you guys. I'll meet you guys again. As Terminator says, I'll be back. Thank you. Bye-bye. So I will, okay, I totally forgot this. This is my number, and anyway, I'll pass it on through Himanshu. This is my name, and you can WhatsApp me, you can email me or whatever if you have something. All right. Awesome. So bye-bye, guys. I will end the session now. Have a good weekend, whatever is left. Right. Where is this fellow?